Affinity bonuses in this game are so incredibly important, and it's one of the main things I see people mess up with. And it can honestly set you back months and months of progress and benefits by messing this up. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys exactly how to use the Great Hall properly, exactly how to use affinity bonuses properly, and there's a lot more to it than you think. So first of all, the reason why you really need to do this thing, or the reason why you really need to prioritize these and make sure that you are not messing up, is because of two things. One of them is these things are permanent boosts to your stats. It's almost every single stat you have, and it's permanent. Every piece of content. It is insane. These things are such a big boost. I mean, you'll get 80 accuracy, you'll get 80 resistance, 25% crit damage, 20% defense, 20% attack, 25% or 20% HP permanently on all of your heroes once you get this maxed out. That is no joke.
If you're looking to have one of the strongest possible starts, make sure to click the link in the description to get a free legendary Bambus 4-leaf and one of the best epics in the game to gore as you level up. Now, to make it happen, here are all the steps you need to follow. Number one, make sure you are logged out of Plarium Play on PC, or you just don't have it installed at all. The next step, you just gotta go into the description, click the link, and register with a brand new email. Once you launch Raid and complete the tutorial, go to the mail, and there sitting will be your free legendary, and the epic will come soon after once you hit level 15. Starts like this in gachas are unheard of. Click my link right now and get the start that you deserve.
The other reason why you want to do these is for your Arbiter missions. Arbiter is incredibly strong early game and even late game, and you really want to get her as soon as you possibly can. And during the Arbiter missions, there are a lot of arena missions. These are always the most annoying missions to do. And the most annoying out of them, in my opinion, the most time consuming, the most difficult to do are, if I could find them pretty quickly, these ones. Upgrade an affinity bonus to level 2. This is just one of the first ones. They will tell you to, get 2 to level 2 and get, 4 to level 2, all of the stuff, which you will eventually have to do. But there's one very close to the end where you have to get one of your specific things to level 10. This takes a long time. So you also want to keep in mind that you have to do these affinity bonuses in a certain way for those as well, but I'll get more into that in a second. The way you get these is from Arena, obviously, classic Arena. Just as an example, I mean, we'll just go through. This is an old account that I don't, play as much as I should. You basically go through the stage, you win your fight, and you get a medal. So when you go up tiers in Arena, you'll go from bronze to silver to gold to platinum. And as you can see, you get a different amount of these tokens, and each of these tokens is worth a different amount. So bronze tokens are worth 1 each. As you can see, bronze 1 and 2, you'll get 1. Then it goes to 2 in bronze 3 and 4. Then you'll go back to 1 token, but this time it'll be silver. And silver tokens are worth 2 each, essentially. Then you'll be able to get 2 silver tokens, 3 silver tokens, and then you'll get to gold. And gold tokens are worth 3. So the ultimate goal is to get to either gold 4 or 5, farm out a ton of arena. This stuff takes a long time, and you'll start to rack up these tokens in order to upgrade your affinities really fast. And obviously increasing your stats, getting these missions done are a big deal. It'll speed up your progress a ton. Now, with that out of the way, how do you prioritize these things? Now, obviously, I just said that storyline will tell you to jump through hoops, and you should follow that. So you'll want to, fulfill those when you start to see them. Outside of the storyline, outside of the, the different prioritization, how should you apply your tokens? The way you want to do it is you want to only focus one at a time. As you can see, I am upgrading accuracy on this account. I don't play on this account anymore, but if I did, I would keep on trying to upgrade this as much as possible over and over again. As you can see, this is the amount that it takes. It gets very expensive and it takes a long time, but you want to focus one at a time. This will continue on forever. Even when you get your first 10, you're still going to want to focus one at a time, because as you can see right here, It goes from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. This applies to other things as well, where the bonus actually gets greater the higher you go. And there are just simply some stats that are more important than others. So upgrading those are more important. The stat priority I would recommend is you focus accuracy first. Now there's a caveat to this where when you're upgrading a stat, you have to kind of pay attention to what units you are upgrading, which I'll go into in a second. But basically the general stat, priority that I would recommend to you guys is you start with accuracy. Accuracy is so important in all stages of the game, especially earlier on. Your first 10 should ideally be accuracy for one of your main units that requires it. So for example, for this, I could either go for Kale or Supreme Gaelic, which will be either magic or void affinity. And I'm going to max this as high as I can because simply early game, you're basically not going to have any accuracy gear. So this account is, maybe a week old or so. If we go to primary stats and we look for accuracy, there's no accuracy gear. And this will continue on for a while. You're not going to have a lot of accuracy gear. And substat wise, the same thing will be true. You're not going to have a lot of accuracy gear to really push you to certain pieces of content. And even beyond that point, once you get into late to end game, you're still going to need accuracy a ton because units will start to get a ton of resistance, which suppresses accuracy and makes accuracy less useful unless you get it to a high enough point. Accuracy is so important. Debuffs are so important. Debuffs are the core of the combat in this game. Debuffs and support are the two main things, not damage. So you're going to want to focus your accuracy as much as possible early on. Then I would prioritize crit damage. The reason why crit damage is a lot better than something like attack when it comes to something like this is crit damage can be used from attack nukers. They could be used on HP nukers and they could be used on defense nukers. HP and defense nukers are very good in this game. Attack nukers are also good in this game. So depending on what you're using, you're going to benefit from crit damage no matter what on all of your DPS. After that, I would prioritize resistance. Personally, I think is really important. It makes it so it's harder for debuffs to be placed on you, which is a big deal. Really good for arena, really good for bosses, really good for really anything. And then beyond that point, it's kind of a toss-up between the last three, which are HP, attack, and defense. This purely depends on what units you're using. I would say HP, then defense, then attack. But once again, it depends on what you're using. That is the priority I would tell you guys to use. Now, there is one other thing that is incredibly important, and that is the affinities that you upgrade. And this is purely going to depend on account by account. It's going to differ wildly, right? So when you're going through this, it's going to depend purely on what your account looks like. As you can see by mine right here, this is just a placeholder account. This account has Supreme Gaelic. This account has Tagore, Yugo, Kale as their main things, and Elenaro. There's two ways that I could go with this. I could go magic, which I think is the better option here. We go accuracy to help Ugo and Kale land their very valuable debuffs. Elenaro puts out poisons, which requires accuracy, all of this stuff. Tagore does not really require accuracy, so he wouldn't get much benefit. He can get ignored. Then we go to Supreme Gaelic, who also has really good debuffs. He has HP burn, block buffs, decreased speed, incredibly important. If you want to get him for free, he's a promo code champion, which you should be getting. Anyways, he requires accuracy as well. So depending on where I want to invest my time, which because I have more units, I would recommend magic at this point, but void is good too. I would prioritize one of these two because there's no point in me trying to upgrade spirit affinity when I have rares and that's it. There's no reason for me to do that. That can be ignored for now. So I'm going to focus what is relevant to me. Something else that's important is when you're thinking of upgrading accuracy, you're upgrading crit damage, you're upgrading, resistance. You do also have to look at the units that are in the affinity that you would be buffing. Like for example, Kale and Ugo. These guys benefit from accuracy, obviously. Elenaro benefits from accuracy, obviously. So that is the main thing to upgrade. But in the event that your main DPS, let's say, or your main affinity early on is stuff like Tagore, where they don't benefit at all from accuracy, that it is a-okay to focus on a different stat instead. Accuracy, though, is by far the most valuable, so keep that in mind as well. Very, very important that you just look at your account, you look at what to prioritize, and you prioritize the stats that matter. Also, make sure that you are keeping yourself going up to that 10 point as your first like big commitment. You want to try to get 1 to 10. I would recommend accuracy once again, by far the most important, but crit damage resistance are good too, and then the other 3 are just kind of whenever. I would never ever do what I ended up doing on my main account multiple years ago, which is this: prioritizing everything. This was a terrible idea, and it set back my account so much at the time. I eventually luckily corrected it in order to complete the Arbiter missions, or at least get very close to it. But oh my goodness, did I mess up here. I started off by just upgrading freaking everything because I didn't know any better, because I had just started, I didn't watch that much content, and I didn't know how to do this sort of thing. But when I had to, you know, level an affinity up to 7, and I was so far behind, I had to drop everything to try to upgrade it. And then I watched a video and I learned that accuracy is so important, and I didn't know accuracy was important, but it really freaking is. So then I upgraded accuracy, and then I realized there was a level 10 affinity quest. So then I leveled it up to level 10. And this is exactly what I should have done, and not spent all of my time prioritizing everything, because this honestly is a waste. Is the, you know, the boosts good? Sure, they're good. They will help you out short term. But leveling everything doesn't matter, because a lot of the time, 1 or 2 of these affinities you're never using. And beyond that, these stats you're never using. Like, so many times people will only be using a support unit from one of these affinities. Let's say Force. They'll be using a support unit. Why would you level attack? There's no reason to level attack, because that's not a DPS. It is a waste, and you're just wasting your time, which is a big thing I want to really emphasize to you guys throughout my videos. Is Raid is really a game about prioritizing your time effectively. It is such a time sink. I'm gonna be completely blunt. I like the game, I love the game, but simply the game is a time sink, and the less time you can spend, because you're getting stronger faster, you're getting stronger more efficiently, you're using your resources more efficiently, the better. And that's really what I want to emphasize to you guys, because I didn't do that originally, and it was a mistake. So when you're going through this, as much of a small area of the game it might seem, you must do things right. Now, I'm not going to cover area bonuses, because I'm gonna be real, I've like never done these before. So realistically here, I would say that ignore defense is probably the best, but I'm not educated enough to cover that, so only, you know, affinity bonuses. But anyways, that is everything I want to talk about. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I appreciate you guys sticking through this long. Destin signing up.